Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grim Reaper coming at you for another video for Raider Shadows. Hopefully you guys are well and you're having a great start to the week. I know that the tournaments are looking a bit spicy and stuff like that. The tournament rewards are looking a bit bad. I'm not going to really go over it in this video today. And unfortunately, I did cover it in the video yesterday, which I'll ping at the end of this. You guys can go and check that out. I will be going from Mighty Yugo and I have been grinding out, so go and check where I am in that, and I'll keep maybe people updated and stuff like that. Anyway, let's get into today's video. Today we're going to talk about two things mainly, and it's going to be a champion showcase as well as a I suppose a shout out for a gear set that I'll kind of want to cover and I haven't really covered yet in the channel. So what I want to cover is the gear set, specific gear set, which is really good for P versus E content right now and is something that's very exciting. I do want to cover it, and I've just been trying to build it myself, and it's gonna be the curse gear. Now lately I've been posting way more videos on Hydra, and there will be keep coming, so hit that subscribe button if you want some ideas for this. We're trying out different things, different comps, and trying to give people the maximum damage. Now, over the past couple of months, couple of weeks, takeovers have really picked up in Hydra, and I'm probably doing like 3 to 4 Hydra takeovers right now, which doesn't sound a lot, but generally, when you're doing 3 to 4 Hydra takeovers, it could be between 2 to 6 hours work. When you build the teams, you run the keys, you're looking for the good RNG, you test something that doesn't work, and then you might want to test something else at work. So curse gear is kind of something that I'm looking forward to bringing into more teams. I have something that really helped improve Kevin's account with the damage, which is what we're going to go into shortly. And it was something that was really, really cool. So right now, when do I bring HEX gear in? Where do I bring it? What champions do I bring it on? Well, I'm going to cover that and cover these answers right now. First of all, if you guys have any questions, put the comments down and below, and I will reply to all comments, and hopefully give you guys a helping hand. So it's a 50% chance of placing Hex on all allies for 2 turns. So who is it good on? So generally anyone with lots of AoEs, so the AoEs on the A2 or the A3, or generally even better would have the AoEs on the A1. So like Negmo, Krisk, them type of champions where it's quite good, and to try and benefit from the extra damage. I do want to point out defense down and weaken are still the buffs that you should be going with traditionally, and then Hex as a backup. So there's a lot of champions that do Hex, which gives you a 100% chance, but not everyone has the Hex champions, and not every Hex champion is useful. There is only 2 Hex champions that I really recommend right now, and that's Mishigati, who is probably one of the best Hydra DBS in the game, who was a guaranteed legendary after 20 sacreds, I think it was, as a fragment summon, which is the only one they've done and not done since. And the other one is Mafala, who is basically farmable and who is a great champion and offers you a lot of stuff in P versus E and P versus E. I will be posting a video on her in the next couple of weeks, as well as like an update on how to build her. Anyway, so there is that. So we covered the set. Now we're going to cover the champion very quickly, who I want to showcase today, and it's no other than Sun Wukong. I think I said that correctly. If I didn't, I do apologize. I'm not the best with names, but it can be quite funny sometimes as well. I'm not going to cover him really in any other content. I just kind of want to see how good he is in arena. First of all, I think he's amazing. After me testing him, I think he's definitely worth it. And he's someone that doesn't actually need books. Now, if you can book him, book him. If you can't book him and you're free to play and you have other champions that you want to book first, fair enough. You know, this ability is cool. It hits fairly hard. But it's all about this ability, right? There is no chances of the being 100%, 75% chance, 100% straight away, and it's placed. So it doesn't weak it as well. So that's really, really cool, right? Having it on 3 turn cooldown would be nice, but you could use Relentless, for example, which can help you get on a 3-turn cooldown. If you turn A2 off, maybe you go to Reflex, and you can also use Refresh. So they're the optimized sets that I would generally use on him. We did get quite a bit of good damage, and we did do a kind of a hybrid build, and we'll show you the build later on him. First of all, let's go into that hydra run, enjoy the music, and I'm going to be back with you shortly after this. Right, so there is the run that works really well, and full auto as well. Not many blessings, anything like that, nothing too crazy. So generally, I kind of want to go over everything and what's the ideal sets and stuff like that. So as you can see, actually, only two of these champions are fully booked, which is Pythion and Artak, and the rest of the champions are not booked at all. So Molly's not booked, Lydia's not booked fully. Sun Wukong is not booked, and Nekmo is not booked either. So this generally could be a lot better, right? So the ideal sets then for these champions and what I had advised to do. So for Artak, obviously for me, you can use like a regen build, and I don't feel it's like the best option for him for Hydra. But if you're using him in Ice Golem, the regen build with high HP, survivability, and high accuracy would generally work. I use mine all the time on hard as well, generally like that, and I don't build it for damage. This one's kind of a bit of both. Does have damage masteries, but again, nothing really crazy going on there. He does have Brimstone, so Brimstone for me would be the number one option for Artak, but it's kind of worth pointing out that you don't want to run too much Brimstone, and the only reason we're running Brimstone right now is just because they're very low in the blessings, and if they were higher, then I probably would drop it and then try and bring in blessings like cruelty and stuff like that. Generally on Artak, his number one set would be refresh for his amulets, and then generally relentless is the best two sets. Bear in mind he does have AoEs on all abilities, so if you don't have a relentless, you could choose to use reflex. That is the next best thing, especially if you don't have much refresh. But if you have much refresh, I would then say relentless is slightly better than a reflex, and because you're going to be using all his abilities as well. So relentless is the number one set. Then I would say secondly would obviously be refresh. And then third would be relentless would be the reflex. Fourth would be then you could put him. He's a good contender for Hex and for provoke, I suppose. You know, the AoEs on that, and if you're not running net mode, then he would be a good option for that. Right now, I didn't bring a provoke set in this team because generally Molly's quite good. But yeah, he would be a great candidate, and then when you have AoEs, that is a really good set to try and sneak in a Hex set, or try and sneak in the provoke set. But for me, generally he would be the number one way out to go is relentless, and I think he just makes a massive difference on him when he's getting them extra turns, and especially when he refreshes procking. For Sung Wong, you can just go damage again, but this is a bit of a hybrid build, so he doesn't do as much damage as Artak, for example, but he has more of a damage build than him. And generally, I would be looking at him to go with Relentless again, or the Reflex, and maybe turn off the A2 if you're going to go for the Reflex, and then you can then cycle through his A3 and A1 way more, which is where the damage is coming from and stuff like that. Generally did quite well. I did think he would get a bit more damage, and chat mostly said that in Twitch chat would say that most of the damage was going to come from Sun. So a bit of an interesting one. Lydia is built for damage. She has 200 critical damage and stuff like that. Again, her ideal set, I suppose, isn't really an ideal set. I suppose Hex would be a great set for her in this team, so I'd rather put the Hex set on Lydia, because as you can see, her multipliers are not crazy, so you could go with a Hex set to try and boost her damage up. I don't know if I like the idea of putting a Hex set on Artak, just because he does a lot of damage already. I generally would try and spread out the damage and look at that. But also, if I'm running a Hex champion like Mushiati or Lifebane, they're generally the ones I try bringing before I bring in a Hex set, so that is kind of worth pointing out. For Molly, the ideal blessing would be Lightning Cage, just because this will help with the debuffs. For Mischief, she should be built with high accuracy, obviously. So then I'll probably just go look at resistance gear, speed gear, perception, and maybe reflex as well would be probably the best set on her, so you can get around to that A2 much faster. I think if you have a really good hex set where you can build high accuracy and high resistance, because she does need both, and survivability and fairly good speed, then yeah, I would generally go for it. Obviously refresh would be great, but I would put one piece of blood shield on there as well, just to give her extra buff when she hits that on the E1. So that's what I would kind of look at as well. But the ideal set for her, the top best set, would be reflex, because you wouldn't be using that A3 at all. And then blood shield and refresh. With Pythian, for me, again, he's not going to be using that A3 a lot. Like, the revive doesn't really do his job. His job is, where you click on the champion, is actually just to cleanse the team and put up block buffs. That's why he's generally in here. Obviously the revive is nice, but we don't tend to use it. So as long as you click on someone that is not Torment, then he never gets provoked. And if you're using champions like Necmo and stuff like that, generally a cleanse is quite good to try and do. Obviously if you have Samuel, you can kind of go ahead with that instead of Pythian if you want, and you'll probably benefit from more damage. Again, his ideal set would be the reflex. I think the reflex would really be top tier, and then refresh as well. You could go for the resistance, or you could use him in the lead and use the reflex resistance. So the resistance aura for Molly, because that generally would help build her up for the things. So if you want to put her in reflex, that would be the most important for this style of team. Negmo is great kind of in all sets really. So today we're running him in Hex. If you don't have Molly, I would probably go Provoke as well, like cool. He cycles through his abilities crazy good, and he does have like a decreased speed and low cooldowns as well. So if you build him really fast, and he's good, generally quite good. I brought in a Hex here just generally because my rules are quite simple. If I bring a defense down and weaken, Hex is then the next ability. I'm not going to be bringing Hex over weaken, for example. I'm going to try and get that in there as debuffs, and then Hex will just help increase that damage even more. And this is how we've been able to build on Kevin's account, which is not the most stacked. A lot of the gear is broken and stuff like that. And obviously you see two champions clearly don't have War Master. They are running different things just to try and generally help with the build. So let's go ahead and show you the gear of this. So let's go ahead and show you Molly's first. So this is Molly's gear. So as you can see, we do have the refresh, the blood shields, where we generally do look at. As you can see, the stats are 350 accuracy, a bit of overkill on hard, but it is what it is, and 500 resistance. You only need 450. We just put Chris gear on him, and then we make her the slowest, and then good defense and HP. The War Master, sort of masteries, we have Unshakable, Law Steel. Hex doesn't really do anything on this champion. And then I just kind of went for high resistance, like here and here, and then went for Wisdom of Battle. Again, she shouldn't hit Torment, so that is true revivers in here. That shouldn't hit Torment, right, if you click onto one of the heads. And it's really important that you're clicking on the heads, so people don't get feared as much. So that's kind of what one thing I'd figure out. You don't need Samuel if you're smart enough. As you can see, she's not fully booked. So again, massive improvement with this champion. We've got hack accuracy, but you can also use resistance. And then I've got HP, accuracy, resistance, defense. And then it's vice versa again. We've got speed boots with resistance. Resistance chest, again, you can go accuracy chest if you want. We've got HP again. And then we've got speed, accuracy, and resistance. Obviously, we have a righteous set, which we spoke about earlier. And then we also have speed and then stone skin. with resistance. It is kind of worth pointing out resistance will, for stone skin, will also add, if you get 2 piece on, will also give you 40 resistance and 8% HP. And if you don't have that option, but you have like I think it's protection, where 1 piece will give you 20% resistance. So yeah, Molly, super strong build and looking really cool. We're gonna go into the next champion, which will be Lydia again. Another free champion, right? Lydia, another free champion who is here. Again, just built with kind of, so all these sets I was talking about earlier, these is how you optimize your team to do full damage. But obviously, again, stats over sets matter, and this is a good positive thing to see, right? Is I'm going stats over sets. I'm not trying to break the count. I'm not moving gear around. I'm getting the job done still, and stuff like that. So again, we have 262 critical damage. She doesn't need to be built for damage. It's just a bonus for this account. We have good accuracy. We only need about 300 accuracy for hard, if that's correct. Good speed, good defense, and HP. And then War Master as a tier 6 option. And then trying to get a Cycle of Violence around and Life Drinker. So yeah, they're kind of what I'm looking for. That's really cool. We have Master Hexer there to try and stand the debuffs. That is really important, so make sure you take that. Again, not fully booked on all these areas, so we are missing the cooldown here, which would be really appreciated. This will do a lot actually when we have this increased speed on a 3-turn cooldown over like 150 turns. It adds up, man, like, and does really drop his damage quite a bit, strengthen as well there. Again, just like accuracy, you can go resistance there. Critical damage, again, you can go HP if you're struggling. You can go HP or defense here if you're struggling to stay alive. It's worth pointing out, if you're going to try and do Samuel, I would probably build her for more survivability than anything. So the next champion after that will be the free champion, which is going to be Sun, which is here. So these again is not the most optimal builds. It's just broken pieces. Does have a revenge piece on here, but that's just like best banner. That's not something I'd recommend because it would actually get feared a little bit more. Again, it's a hybrid build, right? So we got good accuracy. We've got good critical damage, good speed, reasonable attack, and a reasonable HP. Not worried about his HP because he does revive himself, which is super cool. These are his masteries. We've got War Master, we have Cycle of Violence, which are key masteries, Life Drinker, Master Hexer, and Sniper. Again, all key masteries. Sniper's not so much a key mastery on this one, to be honest. So anything else from that? Not really. Again, you could choose to go cruelty once you got some nice stats or nice high levels. So I think this is an artifact to use for Ice Golem. I did go ahead and give him War Master, which would help the damage. So we got War Master here, Cycle of Violence, Sniper for the A1, I believe, and then Master Hexer for the HP burn to try and stand that. This guy is fully booked, which is super cool, and we do have a relentless build, so it does help to get these relentless builds when we can. But as you can see, this one hasn't been built for full damage, so again, his damage could be significantly increased a lot. And generally, he wasn't increased, his stats wasn't increased because I ran out of silver. So I wasn't able to rebuild him with the critical damage that I wanted. And we did need to roll up a lot of his relentless gear and stuff like that. So it's one of the reasons why I didn't rebuild him, but his build works, right? Nothing, hardly any critical damage. And he did quite a bit of damage. Obviously, we have a hex set on Necmo, which we spoke about it. Most of it's not fully rolled yet. You know, you can kind of go quite a few ways on him. I've done a showcase on him plenty of times in Provoke set. I think I've had him in a Relentless set. I've just had him in speed sets as well. I've just crit capped him, given him crazy critical damage, crazy. So our ability, I think I still got like 15 million on mine on Nightmare. I will try and ping the video at the end of this so you can go check it out if you want. If you want to kind of see it like a different style of build on Netmo. But today is mainly just looking at how the hex set kind of works and the damage it does. He was the second highest damage dealer, and as you can see, there's no critical rate, there's no critical damage. I'm not packing 300 here, so the stats are really reasonable. We got good speed and good. We want to make sure he's the fastest. That's one thing to kind of note. His A1, so his A3 isn't fully booked at all, so he's not 100% chance yet on decreased speed. It's not on 3-turn cooldown. This is on a 6-turn cooldown, not a 4. So yeah, you do get extra turns, so it's more like a 3 and a 5. Brimstone, I do like Brimstone on him because it gives him extra HP, and generally because it's just really cool to have Brimstone on an AoE champion for A1. These are his abilities, so this is kind of like really key. War Master, Cycle of Violence, Life Drinker, Master Hexer, and a Sniper. So you do have a decreased attack on A1. You do have decreased speed and leech there, which really helps to try and stand with Master Hexer. The leech does quite a lot of healing on him. The speed in all battles is just the touch of the iceberg for me. I think that is all the champions I've covered. Let me just double check. So I didn't cover Python, right? So let's cover Python very quickly. Python, honestly, is probably the easiest person to build in this team. And I didn't want to change his build too much, so let's just make sure he hasn't changed it back. No, he hasn't. So right now we have good speed, good defense, good HP. Broken pieces, nothing to really worry about. I left him with the masteries that he already had. Not ideal masteries, but it just works. He doesn't do damage anyway, so there's no point really me messing around with him. So just make sure he had good speed and make sure it wasn't too slow. You could also go Relentless if you wanted, but I generally think Reflex is the best set for him. So there you are, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this and what you think about his team, and how are your thoughts on Hex set. Have I changed your mind, or have I kind of made you look now at trying to increase your damage in Hydra and give yourself easier life? And how are you bringing Hex set yourself? I know I have bring it in Hex set on my account and Provoke set, and generally doing quite well. So there we are. And let me know if you are interested in me doing like a tier list with all the top all the top Hydra champions in their best sets and going over that. So obviously I have quite a bit of experience, and I would like to know, I kind of like to think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to Hydra. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. It really helps support this channel and this video get out there and help more people with Hydra, because it's not the easiest of the content. So there we are, guys. I've been Grim Reaper. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.